After Donald Trump lost the 2020 election, his lies about its outcome were incredibly clear and incredibly dishonest, that it was somehow rigged or stolen from him, but it was also easily identifiable. But after this election that he unfortunately won, Donald Trump is telling a new lie, and I don't think we're talking about it enough, that this new iteration of the Trump administration somehow has this overwhelming mandate, that they won in the most significant margin that we've ever seen, when it was actually quite close. And as more votes still continue to come in, it gets closer and closer. Donald Trump didn't even win a majority of votes. He didn't win over 50%. And he's trying to govern like he did, like he won some gigantic supermajority and entirely had all of his ideas endorsed from the American people. And we cannot let that type of operation happen in this Trump administration. And it's why Senate Democrats are pushing back right now and infuriating Donald Trump in doing so. And I want to get into all of that and all the bad news for Donald Trump. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way, and it really means the world to me. Now, before we get into what's getting Donald Trump so upset, I want to hear a little bit of a breakdown on all this from Rachel Maddow.
And we are seeing, with the Republican Party ascending in Washington, we are seeing a really radical effort not to just advance and advocate for and plan to implement Republican policies. We're seeing a really radical effort to change the American system of government, to consolidate power in one man's hands, to consolidate power within the executive branch of government. All this talk you've heard about firing huge swaths of the federal government, wiping out whole departments, firing career law enforcement people, firing whole categories of civil servants. All of that is about consolidating power in the executive branch. So there is no source of authority or judgment within the federal government except for the one guy at the top, except for Trump. Specifically, you've heard talk about them firing the FBI director, firing the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Those are jobs that don't turn over when the presidency turns over. They're specifically designed to be independent of the political cycle, so that people in those jobs at the FBI and the Fed, they do what's right for the country and not just what's right for any particular president. But this insistence, this out loud insistence from the Republicans that Chris Wray at the FBI and Jerome Powell at the Fed somehow are going to be fired and replaced by Trump because he's coming in as the new president, that's not how the American system of government is supposed to run. That's about him consolidating his power over the executive branch, including the parts of it that are supposed to be independent from his power and control. We are also seeing, even before the Republicans take power, efforts to consolidate power over the press, not just threatening and intimidating reporters and news organizations, but now saying they're going to use the power of the government to do it, having their presumptive appointees say that news organizations will be reviewed by the federal government according to their editorial decisions on news issues. We're finally now getting some widespread discussion about their efforts to consolidate power also in just one man over the legislative branch of government. So over the fourth estate, the press, over the executive branch, but also over the legislative branch, over Congress. Trump demanding that the Senate not confirm his nominees, threatening to force the Senate to shut down so he can install his nominees without any confirmation hearings or votes. Right? That is an effort to consolidate his power in such a way that it marginalizes and renders inert and unimportant the legislative branch of government, in that case specifically the Senate. But it's not just the Senate. With Trump's austerity commission, this thing where they're going to cut trillions of dollars out of the budget, an effort headed by eccentric right-wing billionaire Elon Musk. In order to do that, they are reportedly planning on seizing for themselves what's usually called the power of the purse, taking it away from Congress, just unilaterally cutting and reshaping the whole federal government without Congress being involved at all. So in Washington, as Trump and the Republicans are preparing to take power, Trump is working really aggressively to consolidate all government power in Trump's hands. He's looking to consolidate all the power of the executive branch in his own hands. He's looking to consolidate all power in the government over the legislative branch, supposed to be the co-equal branch of government, not going to be co-equal anymore. He's trying to liminalize it, neuter it, make it unimportant, tell them what to do and expect them to do it. He's also trying to do the same thing over the fourth estate, right? The so-called fourth branch of government, the free press. There's also the judiciary, right? So far, frankly, I think he's been delighted how he's being treated by the third branch of government, by the courts, by the judiciary. So we don't yet see him moving to defy the courts or defy court orders, but don't rest on that. I think it's very possible that that is coming.
Senate Democrats are not only pushing back on Donald Trump's cabinet nominees, and they are not going to just let him push them through. They are going to hold really detailed hearings and investigations into these people, especially the Tulsi Gabbards, RFK Jr., Pete Hegseths of the world. I want more information on those people's past. They need to be held to account so the American people can see what they've signed up for with this administration. But it's not just that. We continue to see Democrats confirm President Biden's judges, and he just set the record for the most judges ever confirmed in a single term, previously passing Donald Trump, who also spent the end of his presidency confirming judges. So let's do the same. And of course, this is not making Donald Trump very happy, and so he took to Truth Social, like I said at the beginning of this video, pushing his lie and raging against Democrats. Trump wrote, "We just won a historic landslide and mandate from the American people, but Senate Democrats are organizing to improperly stall and delay the confirmation process of many of our great nominees. They will try all sorts of tricks, starting very soon. Republicans must not allow them to do that. We have a country to run and many big problems to solve, mostly created by Democrats. Republicans, be smart and tough." That right there is why I wanted to start this video talking about the new lie that Donald Trump is pushing. That he is somehow historically popular, won a massive landslide, and every American wants all of his ideas put forward. But that's not true. Donald Trump ran in this election, and he unfortunately won on the promise of lower grocery costs, cheaper gas, fixing the economy that's booming right now. That was his agenda. It wasn't RFK Jr. bringing back polio. It wasn't Tulsi Gabbard selling state secrets. It wasn't Pete Hegseth drinking on the job. It was lower cost. And Donald Trump, before he has already taken office, is saying, "Whoa, guys, let's pump the brakes on all this low cost talk." Who brought that up? That seems like a crazy idea. Even going as far as to admit that he can't make it happen, which we knew all along. And we tried to tell people. They didn't listen. Not going to be great for all of us because of that. But what we have the opportunity to do is to show that Donald Trump can't fulfill his promises. Republicans can't govern. They lied to you, and they're pulling the rug out from underneath you, right in front of your face, to focus on Donald Trump's vengeance and RFK's assaults on vaccines instead of eggs, which is what everyone claimed to care so much about. That's what Donald Trump is signing us all up for. And so we need to take these moments in which he's investing all of his attention in the most radical parts of his agenda that don't help anyone to point out that that's what he's really about. Vengeance and putting more dollars in Elon Musk's pocket while he takes more vaccines away from school children. That's the Trump administration. And that is a message that can actually work. And it's not just in the Senate where Donald Trump is running into trouble. We also see Republicans already starting to have some problems around their speaker election, which just makes me so happy. And Hakeem Jeffries was talking about that in a great clip I want to check out right here.
With respect to recklessly trying to suspend the debt ceiling and secure a $4 to $5 trillion blank check. Thankfully, we stopped that from happening.
It's been quite a week, and one of the things I talked about a bit here, Leader Jeffries, is that Elon Musk, we saw Elon Musk take kind of a powerful role in his power over the Republican caucus. That surprised me, I guess. Maybe it shouldn't have. Did anything about how he wielded his power surprise you?
Well, many people throughout the Capitol are saying that he has perhaps emerged as the leader of the Republican Party moving forward. And we'll have to see how that plays itself out over the next few weeks, next few months, and next few years. As House Democrats, our position is simple. There are three things that we should all be focused on in connection with the American people. First, lowering costs. Second, bigger paychecks for hardworking American taxpayers. And third, securing safer communities. That's going to be our North Star moving forward. And we'll see whether the incoming administration is prepared to join us on behalf of the American people.
I know there were some, I listed a number of them, pieces that were in this bipartisan agreement that were stripped out of the bill before it went to the Senate. Some of them were saved in the Senate. But because of this whole chaos of this week, there has been questions about whether Mike Johnson is at risk of not being the Speaker of the House in a couple of weeks. What do you think?
I think that's a real risk, and there will be no Democrats available to save him or the extreme MAGA Republicans from themselves.
Avoiding a government shutdown was the last instance in which I think Democrats needed to step in and save Republicans from themselves. I do not think that we should be holding their hands unless it means the American people could actually face the significant consequences of their inability to govern. If Republicans want to take weeks to elect their speaker, if they want to fumble and bumble all over their confirmation process so Donald Trump's nominees can't get through, I say go for it. Continue the Civil War. I'm going to love to see it. We are not going to step in. We are not going to help them. If they want to pass parts of our agenda, great. Go for it. We are not helping you with yours. You can't govern. Time for everybody to see it. And we're going to be talking about that every single day on this show, as always. If you want to support that, as always, again, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.